Welcome in, good people. Jump in, get in the house while the getting is good. And by getting, I'm referring to Alabama football news. You can get the hottest form of that right here. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine on a Friday TGIF edition of the show. We're bringing you the show from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming this to you on YouTube. Speaking of a channel, if you haven't subscribed yet, smash that subscribe button. Hit subscribe right now. Get your friends to subscribe as well, so that way you can have all that you crave on your Crimson Tide. Also, run those likes up. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the like button right there. Also, turn on all of those notifications. Hit that little bell so that way you can get all of your news, notes, alerts, entertainment on your favorite program, that being Alabama football. We got you covered here on Facebook and Twitter as well. And right now, the daily Super Chat Go little bar there, we're trying to get that back working. It's a little bit down right now, but we have gotten your donations. And we got my man Jimmy Bad Boom thrown in the bag. Pimp Man Clay, Jimmy Clay, with that $100 donation, helping us out here on the show. And behind him, Mechanic said, I can do it just like you do it, JC. And Mechanic drops in that $100 donation on his own credit right there. So already getting that daily Super Chat goal of $75 out the bag right there, Jimmy Clay and the Mechanic throwing in $100 each, that $200 donation coming from them. Appreciate those guys and all of you making this your network, your channel, your platform, your show, your space to talk Bama football. We got a lot to get to today, a lot to dive into. So much craziness has happened since the national championship game against Georgia on Monday night. But we got two outstanding guests coming on here. My man Bo Scarbrough, former Bama legend at running back, Crimson Tide alum, played two-time national champion 2015 and 2017. He's got some thoughts on these guys and the transfer portal. He ain't feeling that, so he's going to come on to get his thoughts on that. And then we have our own Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA. He's got thoughts on why the names in the portal, this actually opens up recruiting a bit more in terms of scholarships and in terms of guys the Crimson Tide can bring in. So it'll be interesting to talk with Justin and Bo Scarbrough a little bit later on here in the show. But it looks like Jimmy Clay has come in here with another $100 donation. Jimmy Clay is doing his thing. Bad Man Clay helping us out here on the show, showing love. As always, folks, we want to hear from you guys tonight. We want your passion, your energy, your phone calls, your thoughts, your ideas. Bring them in here. And you can do this by calling 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. But we get in our topic number one here of the conversation, and just so many players since Monday's championship game dropping their name there in the portal. John, on Tuesday, the day after, I'm getting ready to fly back to Birmingham from Indy. And it was just crazy how I'm just sitting here at the Indianapolis airport about to catch this plane. I'm eating some Skittles, drinking some water, thinking about the game that just happened. I'm about to catch this plane back, right? And all of a sudden, all stuff break loose. Like the exodus happens. 5 names hop in the portal. I'm sitting here trying to get all of these stories done, this audio done. Thank goodness I did not miss the plane, because if I would have missed the plane, I would have been a sad soul stuck up there in Indianapolis. But as we now know here, there are 8 notable scholarship names in the portal. Those 8 names being Paul Tyson at quarterback, Tommy Brown on the offensive line, Drew Sanders at linebacker, King Wakuda at linebacker, Shane Lee at linebacker, Jalen Moody at linebacker, Jaleel Billingsley at tight end, and Javon Baker at wide receiver. Now, King Wakuda has actually found him a new home. He's now at Arkansas State with one Butch Jones. So you're seeing all of these names here, these 8 scholarship names here in the transfer portal. And for a lot of you, it's been, oh my gosh, oh no, oh goodness, oh my gosh, this is bad. What's going on? They don't want to pay for Saban. They don't want to pay for Bama. What the heck is going on? This ain't good. Losing players. And you even had some Georgia fans going, man, we broke Bama so real good. Not only did we beat Bama, but we didn't force Bama players into the portal. Like, there was just so much craziness going on since the national championship game on Monday. And for me, I kind of go back to, remember the 2018 championship game, people off a 17 season? Remember after Bama won that national championship that year, and the very next spring, the spring of 2018, Nick Saban had the exodus of coaches. I mean, Jeremy Pruitt left, Derek Ansley left, like so many coaches left after that game, and we were all going, oh my goodness, he's losing this coach and this coach and that coach and that coach. Why are all these coaches leaving? They're great recruiters. They're great teachers. They're great leaders. Why are they leaving? Do they not want to work for Saban? Do they not want to be at Bama? Do they not want to continue to win championships? Why is Alabama losing all of these coaches? We were all in an uproar about the coaches leaving. And what ends up happening 2 years later, in 2020, in the COVID year, Alabama goes on to win a national championship, even with the exodus of coaches and so many people feeling like, well, the coach is leaving. This is the end. Saban's going down. Down goes the dynasty. Coach is gone. It's over. But 2 years later, Crimson Tide wins the national championship. And I kind of feel the same thing in this situation. Now, I'll admit to this. There were two names. There are two of the 8 notable scholarship names in this portal. 2 sting. It stings not having Drew Sanders. That one stings. Sanders in the portal, that one stings. Jalen Moody in the portal, that one stings a little bit too. Now, Drew Sanders, it stings to have him in there just due to when he was healthy, boy, was he playing. When he was healthy, boy, was he growing. When he was healthy, boy, was he doing his thing at outside linebacker. And then, of course, gets the hand injury against Ole Miss. And then Dallas Turner, when you just got a cat that's just cut from a different cloth, I mean, what can you do? Dallas Turner went off this season, especially down the stretch of this year. I mean, he had 2 sacks in the national championship game against Georgia. I mean, Dallas Turner is the real deal at 6'4", 245 pounds. So sometimes it's just a situation where as good as you are as a player, there's somebody else that's just a badder man than you. And Dallas Turner is that bad of a dude. Now, in terms of Jalen Moody, I hurt for him because he comes to Alabama in the 2018 class from South Carolina as a 3-star. He did everything you wanted him to do, right? He did everything you required of him to do. And when he entered games, he made plays. I mean, Moody was a rough rider. He made plays. He made big hits. He made big tackles. You know, he did something that made you go, whoa, who's that, 42? Moody? I like him. You go back to the A-Day game this past spring where, he was out there running that first-team defense in the spring. We were like, my goodness, Moody might be something. Moody might be the starting linebacker. And this was before Henry To'oTo'o came in from the transfer portal. And Moody, in this past season, he opened the year with an interception against Miami in the season opener. So that one stings just due to he did everything. He came in, he learned, he waited his time, he did the whole process, and for him still not to be able to get on the field the way he would have liked to, that one stings. So of the 8 names on this list here, the 2 that kind of have me going, that one kind of hurts a little bit. Moody hurts a little bit. Drew Sanders hurts a little bit. Now, some may say, well, Steve, what about Javon Baker? He's got potential. That one should hurt a little bit. Javon Baker's got potential, but then at the same time, when you look at having Trayshawn Holden back and a J.I. Hall back, and Christian Leary back, and JoJo Earl back, and Ja'Cory Brooks back, and the litany of guys coming in from this 2022 class. You're getting those guys in here. Javon Baker doesn't really hurt all that much. I mean, yes, he had 7 catches for 101 yards and a touchdown in 2021. The touchdown came off the arm of Jalen Milroe against Southern Miss. But, Baker doesn't hurt all that much. But Moody and Dallas Turner and Drew Sanders, those two kind of sting a little bit. But the gist of it all here is Alabama, I think Nick Saban is putting a lot of this on the 2021 and 2022 kids. He's looking dead at this 2021 class that on paper, greatest class ever in the history of the Saban era. Saban's looking at those guys, and he's looking at these 2022 guys, along with some of the 2020 guys he has in here, with Bryce Young and Will Anderson leading the way in that group. He's looking at those guys going, we're putting this on you to get back to the national championship, to win it all, and to not have this feeling of losing again. We're putting this on you guys. Saban is putting a lot on 2021, 2022, Bryce Young, Will Anderson from 2020, and a few other guys there from that 2020 class that Saban has a lot of high expectations for. He trusts those guys. He's putting a lot there on those guys. So as much as we as people, fans, consumers of Crimson Tide football, we hate seeing just several guys into the transfer portal. It's one of those things where if you know within yourself you're not going to get that opportunity to play, you're not going to get that chance to get out there on the field and do what you want to do, you go somewhere where you can get that chance to play and where you can get that opportunity. And 6 of those guys, I feel like they're doing that thing, that number. Well, 5 of those guys, I feel like they're doing that thing, that number. 2 of those guys, Moody and Drew Sanders, it stings for them to be in the portal. One of those guys, Jungle Billingsley, as much as I like the guy, tremendous talent, really didn't just quite fit here at Alabama. Hopefully he goes somewhere where he can be a success story at a different program. But we take our first break here on the show. People, don't touch that dial. We're just getting started. Upon our return on a Friday, we get to your phone calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats, your interactions. What do you guys think of the 8 notable scholarship players in the portal here for the Crimson Tide? We'll get to your thoughts here right after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they've put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, folks, we're back here to the action from the break on a Friday TGIF edition of the show. Hottest show on the streets here, covering your Crimson Tide. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. I got to shout out you guys, the fans, the family, our family, the Blue Ridge Gang. Y'all have done it. We've broken the Super Chat goal all time. The record was $427. We've gone over that. Oh my gosh, John, put every horn on in the vicinity of this room. We got George Stokes here with that $4.99 in the Super Chats. Appreciate the love there from George Stokes. Behind him, I think that's Jimmy Clay again with that $130 donation. The Super Chat's, my head is about to explode right now. Behind Jimmy Clay, let's see who we got behind Jimmy Clay, John. Behind Jimmy Clay, we got my man Bill, Big Bill from New York with that $5 donation. Appreciate Big Bill there. I think Gucci Tide came in with something. I think Gucci Tide came in with a $50 donation. Fact check that for me, John. That'll be Gucci. That's correct. Gucci Tide came in with that $50 donation. Appreciate the love coming from him. Fans, you have done it. The original Super Chat goal, the original Super Chat record was $427. We have surpassed that. Give yourselves a hand. Give yourselves a round of applause for making this your show, your network, your channel, your space, your platform to talk Bama football. $490 is what we are at right now. Oh, wow. $490. Appreciate you, the Bama faithful, the Bama family. Love what you do. Man, let me calm down here. Okay, we're going to go to the phone lines now and take your calls. Call center brought to you. Willie351, hold on. Willie351 with that 777 here in the Super Chats. Appreciate Willie351 for that donation right there. Now, we go to the phone lines to take your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Ridge Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in right there, 205-448-1358. We grab this call. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Stephen, this is Corey from Trustful. How are you doing tonight?
Corey, I am doing outstanding. How are you, my man?
I'm doing great. I'm really not upset about the title loss because you look at it this way. I feel like Alabama, Nick Saban was able to squeeze pretty much all of he could out of this team. And when you watch the game, once Jamison Williams went down, it was really trying to push a boulder uphill. And eventually it just wasn't meant to be. And I'm not upset. I mean, it's kind of like having the rug pulled out from underneath you eventually. And I'm not that upset, so I'm at ease with it. But I want to ask you this. Are you hearing anything or have any ideas about Christian Harris coming back? Because I know we got one part with Henry To'oTo'o, and if we can get Christian Harris to return, I know this defense will be even better. And I know we got Jordan Battle, DeMarco Hellams, DJ Dale, but this defense can be complete if Christian Harris can return. And we also have Will Anderson too. And of course, we got the Randon Heisman Trophy winner with Bryce Young, and got a deep running back room, and we got some receivers too. I think Christian Harris is the missing piece or the last shoot and drop, and just want to get your thoughts on Christian Harris and what's your thoughts on that?
Appreciate the call. They're coming from Corey. Christian Harris is a big one, and he's kind of keeping all of this close to the vest. I haven't heard anything yet, but once I do hear something, I will provide that information to you guys. And Harris really came on strong the last few games of the season. The Georgia game in the SEC Championship, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl against Cincinnati, and the national championship game against Georgia. The national title game, Christian Harris played his best ball. 2 sacks, was flying around everywhere, and I think if he can play that consistently for a whole year, He's a first-round pick, but it'd be really huge for Christian Harris to come back. Once again, the moment I hear something, I will definitely get that out there. And, of course, we're waiting to hear something from Jalen Armour-Davis. Does he decide to come back? But quite a few names for Alabama defensively have decided we're going to run this clip back. We're going to bring this thing back and return for the 2022 college football season. Appreciate Corey for that call there. We grab this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling tonight? State your name and where you're calling from.
Good evening, Stephen. It's Kevin, Dallas, Georgia. How you doing?
Kevin, brother, doing great. If I was doing any better, man, I would probably be somewhere in Las Vegas.
I know, and we're gonna try to. Your private plane is on the runway right now, Stephen. But I digress for the briefest of moment. Stephen, hey, I have to share this with you and Mr. John Ivory, and this is this, and that's just simply. I know that you stated as far as two young men leaving that was causing you some pain. We can do it one of two ways. Either we can give you some Mercurocone to put on it, or we can ask you to soak your feet in some Epsom salt, or we can do it truly, truly old school. That's get a little dirt, rub it on whatever's ailing you, and walk it off. Because this is what, Stephen, Stephen, you stated. The young men, as far as in those 3 or 4 mentioned classes, those are the ones that's going to take Alabama to the back-to-back. It's not as far as those young men. You put your 3 years in. You have 2 lovely parting gifts, a degree, as well as at a minimum 1 national championship. By that being the case, like the old song say, let's just kiss and say goodbye, because it's time for the new guys to shine. Now, I'm trying to do some old math, new math, and you're probably more proficient as far as new math. I'm going to go with the old math. If I'm not mistaken, when it comes to the as far as selection, for lack of a better term, in the transfer portal, you're supposed to have 7 spots, for lack of a better way to say it, as far as each year. And if I'm not mistaken, Alabama should be at 5. And I was just trying to ascertain as far as what would be the best direction as far as that. But one other thing I have to say in closing, I have to call someone out, Stephen, and that is, it was going back to that night as far as when we had all those Georgia people calling in reference to how bad Georgia's going to be at Alabama in the SEC championship game, and that didn't happen. But as far as on that particular evening, we had an Alabama fan that was going Old Testament, New Testament as far as Jalen Milroe transfer. And since Jalen Milroe is still on campus, and since Paul Tyson transferred, I want the same energy. And I have to go on because he's from my hometown as far as Mattress Matt. You called out Jalen Milroe. I need that same energy as far as calling out Paul Tyson. But the one thing I'm going to say before you even do that, Matt, is this, and that is, when it comes to all these young men, if you're true Alabama fans, you appreciate immensely as far as all the hard work they put in. And all we can do as far as true fans is to ask or to request or to want for each of those young men to have successful careers as far as academically, successful careers as far as on the field, as well as far as in their future endeavors. But gentlemen, ladies, let's please don't, as far as go Old Testament, New Testament, as far as, okay, if you leave the University of Alabama, hey, you're gonna lose your donkeys, you're gonna lose all other cattle. Let's don't do that when it comes to these young men. Thank you for indulging me, Steve. You all take care and have a good evening now.
Absolutely. Appreciate Kevin calling in right there. And I'll say this, I agree. Definitely want to wish all 8 of those scholarship athletes or scholarship young men that are in the portal for Alabama success anywhere that in all things that they choose to do. And, I was the first guy that spoke a lot of Paul Tyson. Really liked the kid, really liked the young man. Thought the young man was going to be able to really, really do something here at Alabama. But, hey, whiffed on that, was wrong on that. Hope to see him wherever he goes do well. But hey, I am one that will admit, hey, when I'm wrong, I will shoot my own self with my own gun. I was wrong on that one. But we go to some super chats right here. We got to get to Gucci Tide with a $10 donation. Appreciate the love there from Gucci Tide. George Stokes returns with that $4.99. in the Super Chats. Appreciate George Stokes. And, man, Gucci Tide again. $10. Wait, Gucci Tide got money to blow tonight. Gucci Tide with another $10 donation. We even got Grade A Music with that $5 donation. Appreciate the love from Grade A Music. So right now, our new total, Jungle said new total, $528 in the Super Chats. Appreciate the love from the entire family at $528 coming from y'all. That brand new Super Chat Go record right there. Once again, 205-448-1358, number to call in to let your voice be heard on the show, 205-448-1358. But right now, we switch to this topic here. And these are the young men for Alabama that have declared for the NFL draft that will be taking their talents to the pros. Those young men are as follows. We have here Fadarian Mathis has declared, Evan Neal has declared, Jamison Williams has declared, John Mechie has declared, Slade Bolden has declared, Brian Robinson Jr. has declared, Josh Jobe has declared as well. So those are just the names right there of the young men who have put their name in the hat in terms of the 2022 NFL Draft. Wish all of them well. Jamison Williams was a blessing from the transfer portal. John Mechie, just a consistent, consistent good playmaker there at receiver. Evan Neal, we know he's going to be a top 5 pick on the offensive line. Fadarian Mathis really grew his stock this year. Brian Robinson grew his stock this year. Slade Bolden had 42 catches for over 400 yards with 3 touchdowns on the season. Josh Jobe was a starter at the cornerback position. So, all of those guys being mentioned, big kudos to them. Hopefully they all have success wherever they land in the next level in terms of the pros. But we go to, before we take our break right now, Gucci Tide returns with another donation of $5. Appreciate Gucci Tide. Jimmy Clay with the $100. Man, Jimmy Clay jumped in here with this $100. We got over 600 big ones. We trying to break a whole band? We trying to break a whole $1,000? We trying to break a whole $1,000. 633 here in the Super Chats. Appreciate the love coming from all of you, making this your show, your network, your platform, your channel, your space for Tide football. We're taking a break right now, folks, on the show. But upon our return, we got our 2 outstanding guests coming in here. So callers, hold on for the next 10 minutes. If not, you can call back in the next 10 minutes. But when we get back, we will hear from Bo Scarbrough and our own Justin Smith. Don't touch that down. We'll be back to In My Own Words.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
And we're back in, folks, from the break of number 1 forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Just so much news coming in on Bama defensive players deciding not to go to the NFL draft, but to come back to the Crimson Tide for next season. So we're gonna get to that in the next topic here. But we're gonna go to the phone lines right now. In my own words hotline, we pick up our first of 2 incredible guests here. So the first one, we bring on my man Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama Magazine. The boots on the ground. No one does recruiting quite like Justin. Justin, what's going on, man?
It's always good to be on, Steven.
Absolutely. Got Justin Smith on right now. So, Justin, when you look at here the list of guys in the transfer portal for Alabama, 8 of those notable scholarship guys here, what does this mean in terms of the numbers, in terms of the spots, in terms of the scholarships that Nick Saban can go to, Ed, in terms of the recruiting trail? What does this mean when you look at Alabama recruiting with these 8 guys here in the portal?
Well, I think it means a lot. I recently wrote the article, of course, that you guys can read over at touchdownalabama.com about how this opens the door, first off, for a lot of guys who will enroll at the University of Alabama, that have already enrolled at the University of Alabama, who are currently taking classes, and they will perform and be a part of the team during spring practice and during the spring game, during A-Day. When you take a look at the Crimson Tide's outside linebacker room now that Chris Allen has decided to move on to the NFL and Drew Sanders has decided to enter the transfer portal. I know recently I've stated that Jeremiah Alexander, as the 5-star linebacker out of Thompson High School in Alabaster, Alabama, it may be hard for him to get on the field, but with those 2 guys leaving that outside linebacker room, it opens the possibility that he could get some type of playing time, work his way into that rotation with Will Anderson, Dallas Turner. So that is one of the more interesting things to look at in terms of the guys who have hit the transfer portal. Also taking a look at the inside linebacker position, when you take a look at Jackson Bratton hitting the portal, Jalen Moody, of course, and we don't know what Christian Harris is going through at the moment, but you also have Henry To'oTo'o coming back. I think that it's huge because if he did go on to the NFL and Christian Harris decided to go into the NFL as well, with those inside linebackers hitting the portal, the Crimson Tide are going to be faced with a situation where they may have to have played some young guys at the inside linebacker position. You could have been looking at guys like Sean Murphy and Jahad Campbell. I think Jaleel Billingsley opens the door for guys like Elijah Brown and Amari Black to come in and to make possibly an immediate impact, especially if Alabama wants to have a 1-2 punch, a tight end duo next season. One of those guys will most likely team up with Cameron Latu to make that possible. And also just taking a look at the quarterback position now that DePaul Tyson has entered the transfer portal. Ty Simpson and Jalen Miro will most likely be battling it out for the second string spot. I think Jalen Miro performed really well during last season, so he is in a good position to possibly be their primary backup. But Ty Simpson will have an opportunity to push him to possibly get into that position during the spring. So this opens the door for a lot of guys to move up the depth chart in terms of guys making moves in the spring. But like you said earlier, it could also open the door for more scholarship opportunities. I don't know how it will impact this particular recruiting class because I feel the Crimson Tide feel really good about their current 2022 class and how it currently stands. But in the future, we may look at Alabama making some moves to push for guys a little bit later in recruiting cycles because some scholarships have opened because of the amount of guys that are hitting the transfer portal. And like we have seen, the transfer portal has been buzzing for several months for several different programs. I think this is just going to become the normal. I think this is going to be expected every single season. You are going to lose about 6 or 7 guys. I think this is going to become the normal.
I got a whole lot of craziness going on here, people, in terms of Alabama football. We're joined here by our own Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama Magazine. If you're just tuning into the show on a Friday, TGIF edition of the show. So, Justin, as we look toward now, February next month, traditional signing period, who are some guys that Alabama looks to wrap up this class with, whether it's freshmen on the recruiting trail, whether it could be the transfer portal, but who are some guys you know right now that Alabama could potentially wrap this 2022 class up with in the traditional signing period?
Yeah, I think it's a mystery at the moment. I feel that they will most likely go to the transfer portal because the portal is loaded with talent. I think you're going to see some names start to emerge in terms of the portal. I'm not sure how many new freshmen that they will try to bring in. It will be interesting to see if some new names start to emerge. Like I said, I feel that they feel really good about their 2022 recruiting class. But with those guys hitting the transfer portal, you do have some open spots on your roster. You do have some scholarships opening up. So I am paying attention to all of the rumors. I'm reaching out to a lot of guys for the 2022 class to see if Alabama's going to make a couple of pushes for them. But I will also just take a look at the transfer portal because Alabama has been able to take advantage of that, and I think they will try to go in there again to get some experience, because in a lot of situations going into the transfer portal, getting a guy who has some college experience is better than getting a freshman in a lot of situations. And when you take a look at the portal, it is filled with not only guys who did not get on the field because they were buried in the depth chart. When you take a look at how many guys have entered the portal now, you have big-name guys, guys who are all-conference guys, guys who put up big numbers during their freshman and sophomore seasons inside the transfer portal. So I would definitely pay attention more so to the portal.
If you're just tuning in, people, we got Justin Smith, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama Magazine, on the line right now. So, Justin, one receiver in particular that you spent a lot of time covering in the 2022 cycle, that being Aaron Anderson from Louisiana. With Slade Bolden choosing to declare for the NFL draft, how quickly do you think Anderson will be able to push guys like Christian Leary, push guys like JoJo Earl to get an opportunity to maybe even start in that slot position when you look at his speed, his acceleration, his burst, his playmaking ability? We look at Aaron Anderson. Could he win that starting job in the slot here starting this spring?
Yeah, I think all of the Crimson Tide's wide receiver position are going to be open heading into the spring and heading into next season. I think Aaron Anderson definitely has a chance to make an immediate impact. I compare him with Jalen Waddle. I know a lot of people don't like comparisons. I don't really like comparisons. I like to analyze a guy and analyze him as the guy that he is going to develop into. But just taking a look at his game, it was hard to just get over that comparison, because I know a lot of people compare guys like JoJo Earl to him. But I always said that JoJo Earl really did not remind me of Jalen Waddle, because he was a bit more so on the smaller side. When you take a look at Aaron Anderson, he has a lot of similarities in terms of going up and catch the football in those 50-50 situations, has the ability to climb the ladder and catch the football at its highest point. Explosive speed, can accelerate with the football in his hands, can operate in a phone booth. Great route running ability, and I think one of his biggest traits at the moment that he possesses is his ability to adjust to the football. It doesn't matter if the ball is thrown behind him. The quarterback underthrows the football. He's a guy that can adjust to it and make plays with his great ball skills. And I saw him do that a lot of times at the Under Armour All-America event a couple of weeks ago, because that group of quarterbacks wasn't the most impressive at times during that week. A lot of passes were a bit awesome. We saw that Aaron Anderson was able to basically cover up some mistakes that those guys made during that week. So Aaron Anderson is a guy that I am really high on after watching him play in the All-America practices and watching him play in the game as well. So I think he definitely has an opportunity to challenge guys like Daiu Jones-Bell and also JoJo Earl at that slot position.
He is Justin Smith, people, the lead scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama Magazine, coming on here to give us the lowdown here in recruiting and what it means on the recruiting trail in having the 8 notable scholarship players in the transfer portal for the Crimson Tide. If you haven't done so, you got to check out Justin's show, The Process, every Tuesday and Thursday on Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel right here. Justin doing a phenomenal job breaking down these young athletes, these recruits, these guys, whether it's the scouting report, whether it's the film study, whether it's going to each and every game we can go to. Justin is traveling back and forth. You're not going to find anybody else on the ground doing this work quite like Justin is on the ground doing this work, visiting every recruit that he can. So, Justin, as always, man, we appreciate you, man. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Be good, man.
No, you do the same, Stevie.
Always enjoy having Justin here on the show. Folks, we're going to actually go to a break right now. When we come back, we return to the phone lines. We're going to grab your calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your chats, your conversations. We get to you, the Bama fans, after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your four-finger bling necklace.
This is Chris Rogers, 2009 National Champion. You are listening to the baddest, when I say the baddest, sports show in the state of Alabama. In my own words, you know, yours truly, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Don't touch that dial.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to WhitwellSports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Look at all these great players in Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Man, wait till I turn up this year. I'm gonna be on the front cover. But what if Will goes off? Or Joe, DeMarco, Chris, Tim, Christian.
Don't wait. Order now at touchdownalabama.com or call 833-483-2624 today.
Christian or Jameer.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
We are in here from the break of a number one form here for Crimson Tide. Football news, in my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine on a Friday, TGIF edition of the show, and we want to say thank you to the Bama fans, the family right here, making this your show, your network, your place, your space to talk Bama football. We got more Super Chats in here. Gucci Tide with that $250. Appreciate Gucci Tide being in here all show long. McConaughey returns with the $100 donation. He's showing love in here right now. Appreciate McConaughey. Behind him, Grade A Music drops in here with a $5 donation. Try to see that $5. That's a $5 donation from Grade A Music. Gucci Tide with another $2 donation. Appreciate Gucci Tide. Bill from New York, another $5 donation coming from Bill. I mean, you guys are just really doing y'all's thing right now. Eddie Rimbert comes in here with a $5 donation. Appreciate Eddie right there showing love. So that total right now, John Iver, let's see what that total is. That total, John, we got, is that 848? Let's see here. That is that 848 or 948? Cannot quite see that there, John, on your end there. But as we're getting the total here, the total is 752. There we go. The total is 752. So that's the grand total right now. Appreciate that coming from John Ivory and from you, the Alabama football fans, making this your show to talk Bama football. But right now we go to the phone lines to grab your calls. The call segment is brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Number to call in, 205-448-1358. We grab this call here. You are live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling tonight? State your name and where you calling from.
This is Kyron from Albuquerque. How you doing?
Doing great, man. How you feeling?
Pretty good. Feeling pretty good. I was just wondering, what do you, as far as which of the guys that left into the portal and the guys that entered the draft early, who kind of surprised you as far as guys that you thought would stay? For me, I'd say it would be Slade Bolden. Him being a junior, statistically he didn't have a whole bunch of yards for his career. Only had 4 touchdowns, I think, his entire career. I thought he would have stayed. So I'm wondering if it had to do with maybe a lot of the young receivers coming in, and also Drew Sanders. Yes, Dallas Turner would have been a starter, but I would have envisioned that Drew Sanders would have got a lot of playing time, maybe been in the rotation. So it was kind of surprised to me that he decided to transfer as well. And also with Drew Sanders, I could have actually seen him converting to a tight end like Latu did. If you ever watched his highlights from when he was in high school and down there in Texas, He was a very good receiver. He has the size to be a tight end, so he kind of surprised me as well. So I was wondering, of all the guys that kind of left, who surprised you the most as far as who you thought would stay, but they actually left?
Let's see here. Who surprised me the most in terms of guys that declared for the draft? I would go John Mechie, just due to the fact that Mechie gonna be looked at now as more so as a second round pick, and just how the season ended for him, going down with that knee injury against Georgia in the SEC title game and not being able to play in the playoff. I really just thought Mechie would have come back, especially with the chemistry that he and Bryce Young developed. Bryce calling Mechie the cornerstone of the offense. Really thought Mechie would have came back. And in terms of guys that went to the portal, I would agree with you. Drew Sanders surprised me the most, just due to how well he was playing prior to him hurting his hand. So those two are the two shocking ones for me. We go to this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
How's it going, Big Steve? This is Tobias out here in Fresno, sir.
Doing great, big man. Doing great, West Coast. How we feeling?
Man, we are very blessed, just grateful and thankful for an incredible football season. Excited about this weekend, celebrating Martin Luther King weekend. Of course, a great man, a great movement, and of course, our great people that have survived so much, thrived so much, in the greatest nation that is on the planet still, even of what's going on now and stuff like that in that old White House. But still, we are still rolling, man. And I just thank God for, just really this show, how it's blossomed. And so as I always compliment you, man, keep doing your thing, be a great journalist, bro. We're depending on you. That's all of us, because we need great content and we need people that have integrity like you have, to keep asking the good questions. And I saw you were on the Paul Feinbaum show again. So that just, man, does my heart so much joy. You do not understand what an inspiration you are. Steve, I am so just overwhelmed, man, at this season. I know it sounds weird, man, because we lost in the national championship, but when you look at what this team became and how it evolved right in front of our eyes, and just all the storylines, man, and and big ups to Georgia. They finally get a chance to become a true rival, because we have been beating them down, and stealing their joy so much. I'm glad, but you look at that game. I looked at it probably the sixth time now. Man, we were right there with a young team, with sophomores, and watching them try to step up. And some of the stuff that you spoke about early in the season, did come to fruition. I remember thinking, why Stephen keep talking about getting these young receivers in? Why Stephen keep talking about getting, John Hart? Why Stephen keep do X, Y, and Z? But I really believed you, but you saw it in the national championship game by them not having those snaps. They were not able to get that chemistry going. And, I really think we could have won that game. But as I said before, football is not a game of yards, man. It's a game of inches. And there was like 5 inches in that game that would have turned it. But just like we don't want others to do to us when we beat them, and they say, well, if we wouldn't have thrown 5 interceptions, we would have won. If we, people do all of that stuff. But no, we just want to say congratulations to Georgia. But look at this team. And Steven, I'm just blown away at who's staying. So I see who's in the transfer portal, and it makes actually sense to me. But I'm excited about who's staying, man, because quite frankly, I agree with you. Mechie, I thought he would have stayed. There's a few others that I thought wouldn't have gone into the transfer portal. But I do believe, and everyone should know, we have some early enrollees that came in. I think the writing was on the wall for a few of them. I do think that a few of them looked up, and I know that feeling. I didn't transfer, but from the school I went to, but I know the feeling of looking up and saying, "Oh, you brought that guy in? Oh man, I'm gonna have to really grind in order to hold my spot." I think we're in a good position, Stephen A. Smith, and I'll leave you with this, man. Out of the two units, the offense and the defense, it looks like our defense, based on who's staying, is going to be in a strong position. Out of all of the receivers that are staying, who are our top three going into next year? Who comes out of spring as our top three receivers? After spring, I'll leave you with that. I threw something in the super chat for you. Man, love y'all. Roll Tide.
Appreciate Tobias for that call right there. So the top three receivers in the spring. Give me Christian Leary in the slot. Give me a J.I. Hall at Z. And at X, I will take. Give me Ja'Cory Brooks at X. I like Trayshawn Holden, I do, but give me Ja'Cory Brooks at X. We'll see what happens though. We got some super chats to get to. We got one to get to. Cliff Reese with that $5 donation. Appreciate the love there coming from Cliff Reese, showing us appreciation here on the show. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling tonight? State your name and where you calling from.
What's going on, Steve? It's your boy Elijah from Jersey calling. How you feeling?
Doing good, Elijah. How you feeling, big man?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I can't complain. But I just wanted to know, what is the matter with Slade Bolden? I mean, going to the NFL, that's crazy to me. You know, if anything, I really feel this dude ain't going to get drafted. Like, I could see him transferring, or not even really transfer, because he's getting plenty of playing time at Alabama. But who gave him the idea to go to the draft, Steve? Like, I think he needed to come back another year so he can improve his stock. But, man, the draft? If you look at it, I'd rather take a hurt Jameson Williams and a hurt Mechie. I know Nick Saban ain't tell this man or get his man any advice like that. Like, nah, not Slade Bolden. Like, come on, man. I've been having this conversation with myself all day and said, is Nick Saban going to see now? Because I know he would not give this man that type of information saying you supposed to be going to the draft. Slade Bolden, he was one that I know I would have lost all my money on because I was betting the house that he was returning. You know, then on top of it, I'm hurt at the same time because Javon Baker entered the transfer portal. I understand why Jalen Moody, you know, he see Henry To'oTo'o coming back. You know what I mean? He probably Christian Harris might come back. I understand why Jalen Moody said, yo, it's time for me to get out of here. I'm also happy that Battle's coming back. And I just wanted to say this one thing, Steve. You know, this defense was supposed to be an all-world defense at the beginning of the year. You know, this was supposed to be the strong part of the team. They got off to a very slow start. They got off to a very inconsistent start, I want to say, at the beginning of the year. They turned it on late in the year, but at the beginning, they're very inconsistent. You know, when you think about putting your name in a draft, that says that you're supposed to show consistency all year long. And a lot of these guys, they didn't. Now, I understand, you know, Mathis going. He's been there for about 100 years. It's time for Mathis to go into the draft. I don't agree with Chris Allen going in. I think he needs to come back and improve his stock. This man, I think if he would have played this year, it would have been a tear with him and Will Anderson. But I just feel Chris Allen should have came back, especially he only played one game. That's that Miami game. And I think Joe, even though I'm not impressed with his play, but I wanted to see the young man improve his stock. A lot of these players that we have going into the draft, Steve, I feel some of them might not get drafted because they wasn't consistent enough all year. I got all the faith in Chris Allen, but Chris Allen been out a whole year. That sometimes does something to NFL teams. How are you going to come back? Are you going to be rusty or whatever? Now, I just want to leave you with this last question for you. Do you think, and I'm going to give you these players, do you think it was safe for Chris Allen, Joe, and Slade Bolden to go into the NFL draft right now and be confident that they will get drafted? Let me know what you think about that, big dog.
Okay, so I did not think it was good for Job to enter the draft. I thought Job should have came back. I thought Josh Jobe should have came back. According to Pro Football Focus, Josh Jobe was graded as one of the worst corners in college football. And that's no offense to Jobe. Those were just the numbers. I thought Jobe should have came back. I look at Chris Allen. Chris Allen had one healthy year in 2020. We saw what he did in that season, the 2020 season. But in the NFL, they want to see, can you put together multiple years healthy? How durable are you? I thought Chris Allen should have came back. Now with Slade Bolden, I think Slade took the draft because he knows Christian Leary ain't going to wait forever. JoJo Earl ain't going to wait forever. And some of these other young receivers for this 2022 class, like your Aaron Andersons, your Isaiah Bonds, they're not going to wait forever either. So I feel like Slade went to the draft because of that reason, and probably Bill Belichick may have told Nick Saban, "Hey man, if we the Patriots have a spot there, we may take Slade." But hey, it is what it is. There, we got some super chats to get to. How about Mechanic with the $38 donation, showing love from the show? Appreciate Mechanic, and my man Tobias out of Fresno with that 50-piece right there, showing love. What's that new total right there, John Ivory? That new total, $850 in the super chats. That money keep on growing. That money keep on growing. $850 in the super chats. Appreciate you guys, the Bama fans. We continue with calls here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How are we feeling tonight? State your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, Stephen. Bill from New York. What's up?
Bill, what's going on, my man?
Well, I tuned in a little late tonight, so I want to see if I got things clear. I'm going to talk about the defense. Am I right in like the Toto battle and Christian Harris are coming back? Is that what's happening?
No, Toto and Battle are coming back. We have not gotten word yet on Christian Harris.
Okay, all right. Well, I think Job I agree with you. Job made a big mistake not coming back. I like him more than a lot of fans on the show do. I think he was good, and I'll tell you the truth. I don't think we suffered that great a loss. It sounds bad, but when you think about it, I think Tim Smith could be better than Mathis. Mathis he's been here a whole bunch of years. He came on good in the end, But I think Tim Smith has the potential to be better than that. Dale coming back, that's even a little, I don't know. I was never his biggest fan, but I got to tell you, at the end of this season, he made some plays.
He did.
He did make some plays, right? So I think the defense is looking great. I really do. The only thing looking better than our defense is you personally, and I'll tell you what, I'm so happy about the donations tonight. You even missed a couple of mine, but that's okay. I'm just so glad, and no one deserves it better than you. You and your staff, Justin, you know what I mean? Keep us posted, keep us informed. My thing is, roll tide. We're going to do it next year, Stephen. And thank
Absolutely.
you.
Bill
You.
from New York, that call coming in right there from him. We will continue to monitor the move of Christian Harris and also Jagan Armour-Davis, two defensive players that we're still waiting on. What do they choose to do? Will they choose to turn pro or will they choose to come back? That's Christian Harris, junior inside linebacker, and then Jagan Armour-Davis, redshirt junior cornerback. But we take a call right here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How we feeling? State your name and where you're calling from.
Hey, feeling pretty good, Steven. It's Mattress Matt. How you doing?
Matt, what's going on, my man?
Oh, man, just taking it easy. The guy that called earlier from can't remember where he was from, but Georgia. Can't remember his name, but yes, I would say the same thing about Paul Tyson as far as entering the transfer portal. That and he, I made it spiritual. I'd called in one time and made it spiritual, and that guy was responding to that. But yeah, I mean, I do believe if I can just speak my mind, that when you make a commitment and then you break the commitment, that you could suffer punishment, from God. Even in the New Testament, God's heart is he's serious, about commitments. And when you sign something on paper and you put something in writing in legality, you really need to uphold that, and then God will reward your patience and your long suffering and your endurance. And I think with Bill O'Brien leaving, this is the best thing that could happen for our offense. We need to bring in somebody new who can really recognize talent, because I think Bill O'Brien was overlooking. This is just my feelings, okay? I don't know. So maybe sometimes I act like I try to know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just speaking my mind. But Bill O'Brien leaving is a good thing, and bringing somebody that can recognize talent, because I think Bill O'Brien overlooked a lot of talent. Sometimes he might have put personalities ahead of principles, and I know we don't like, Jaleel Billingsley or whatever, but sometimes we got to put the personalities aside. There might be some people that we don't like and we don't like their attitude, but as long as it doesn't negatively affect the team, you need to put them out there and let them play. If they're a weapon that's going to help you win a game, you can't start thinking about who you like and who you don't like, and thinking about the personalities, and letting that affect your judgment. When you had people out there, that could play ball. I mean, that we could have used in the game. Now it's hard to put players. It's hard to put players in the games, in the small games, when the young players need to get a lot of playing time. Because now with the players getting played and things like players getting paid, the smaller games now are seen as a way to kind of boost the stats of the big players, rather than giving the young players playing time. They would rather boost the stats of the big players, because they have a stock invested in them, and they now, and they have now money's involved, and it's just different now. And I think that's what's happening with the transfer portal too. A lot of these players are probably getting calls from these other colleges now. Hey, look at what we can offer you as far as endorsement deals and things like that. And now they're tempted by it. It's a totally different now. It's the whole game of college football is changed completely. I think we'll still be able to keep the spirit of college football, with the bands and the excitement and everything like that. But you really got to go down to high school now, I guess, to get true pure competition. Pure competition based on the soul, of the competition. But anyway, hey, thanks for letting me speak my mind. Love your show, brother.
Appreciate Mattress Matt calling in here from Mobile on a Friday, TGIF edition here of the show. 205-448-1358. Number to call in right there, 205-448-1358. But we're going to actually transition here to this topic, and that being Alabama football in the NFL. Now, of course, big kudos to Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs made first-team NFL All-Pro defense. Proud of Diggs for what he did for the Dallas Cowboys this season. 11 interceptions. He tied Everson Walls, former Cowboy, out of 19 from 1981. Most interceptions all time in franchise history for a single season. Trayvon Diggs did work for Dallas. But this update goes to the Crimson Tide has 3 alums nominated as finalists for NFL Pepsi Rookie of the Year. And those 3 guys, Mac Jones for the New England Patriots, who's in the playoffs, Jalen Waddle of the Miami Dolphins, who set records this year, and Najee Harris of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who set records this year and is also in the playoffs. So kudos to Jones, Waddle, and Harris for being nominated as finalists for the NFL Pepsi Rookie of the Year. Looking forward to seeing which one of these guys take that honor home, representing the University of Alabama in a first-class way in the league, of course. Now, we go to our final break here, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we touch on this Alabama defense and the dogs that are returning to this group, folks. This is going to be a big spring, especially on defense. We get to the big names and the big players returning for the Crimson Tide right after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to STSfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to STSfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
We're back into the action here, folks, from the break. Number one form, number one ticket for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine on a Friday TGIF edition of the show. Thanks to you, the Bama fans, the Bama family tonight. $850 super chat shattering the previous record of $427. You guys did it tonight. You guys did it. I got the biggest smile on my face because of you guys. Your passion, your love, your excitement, your craving of Alabama football. Thanks for what you do. Thanks for what you do. And we're going to continue to give you what you want here, which is Alabama football. But as always, Tide fans, you got to check out TDAwear.com. We got your hoodies, we got your sweatshirts, your sweatpants, your clothing, all things supporting Alabama football. Check us out right now, TDAwear.com. TDAwear.com. Get you your gear right now today. Show that support for Coach Saban, University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. But while we have so many players, while Alabama has so many players in the transfer portal, and while it has players declaring for the NFL draft, the big news is Bama's got some dogs coming back. Bama's got some players running that clip back for the 2022 season, people. And here we go. Here we go. Among those players, we got Cameron Latou at tight end coming back. Huge for the offense. Bama's got Emil Ekiyor Jr. coming back. to the offensive line. Bama's got Henry To'o back at linebacker. DeMarco Hellams back at safety. Jordan Battle back at safety. DJ Dale back of a defensive line. Byron Young back on the defensive line. So the Crimson Tide getting some real steppers here. Real steppers back here in terms of the 2022 season. And we start this off with Cameron Latu on offense. And I kind of knew if John Mechie was going to go to the draft, getting Cameron Latu back was huge and is huge, because here's another guy, chemistry with Bryce Young, connection with Bryce Young, had 8 touchdown catches this year. Think about this. Latu at 6'5", 250 pounds. He moved from outside linebacker to tight end in the summer of 2020. He was behind Miller Forrestall. And for him to go and for him to make that transition, and then this past season go off this year with 8 touchdown receptions, you think about it. If he holds on to a few more catches this past season, this past campaign, Latu would have had double-digit touchdowns. He dropped the touchdown in the national championship game against Georgia. I know he dropped the touchdown in a game earlier this season. He had a touchdown catch there against Texas A&M, could not keep his feet in bounds. I think that was against Florida where he couldn't keep his feet in bounds. He dropped one against Texas A&M. If he could have held on to a few more of those passes, he would have had double-digit numbers where scores are concerned. But to have him back and he can be able to clean up some things, get some things polished down, work on hands a bit more. We know he's a good blocker. We know he gives great effort. We know he wants to win. He wants to be successful. He wants to be the best offensively. So to have Latu back, big deal there. In terms of helping out Bryce Young where the offensive firepower is concerned. For Emil Ekiyor Jr., it was good to get him back on the offensive line. The one thing I want to see Emil get better at, though, is really mauling defensive players. There are times where Emil gets his hands on guys, and there are times where he's inconsistent with that. I want to see Ekiyor knock guys back and clean guys' clocks out and just really catch guys off guard. Boom! Just taking guys out. When you look at an offensive guard, that's their job as a guard. You are cleaning clocks. You are catching guys off balance. You're knocking them in the dirt. You're rolling them on the ground. That's what you do. You are a mauler. You are an absolute mauler when you're working that phone booth. And that's what I want to see from Ekiyor moving forward, especially with him back on this offensive line for Alabama. As we move now to the defense, getting Henry To'o back. I mean, in it this year, 112 total tackles for the Crimson Tide. He got better as the season got later. He got better. He started off the year kind of lost at times, out of his gap at times, missing tackles, but he ended the year playing strong football. If he can take the back part of 2021 and play the whole 2022 just like he played the back part of 21, Henry To'o will be a first-round pick in 2023. So huge to get him back for this defense. Then you look at DeMarco Hellams. DeMarco Hellams, kind of the same thing. He ended the season with 88 tackles. I know he had an issue there with a bone bruise and a high ankle sprain. Hellams had surgery today. Surgery went well. So the one thing I want to see from Hellams is the way he played the back part of this past season, had that same mentality, had that same production for a full season when it comes down to next fall. But it's good to have DeMarco Hellams back in here. To get Jordan Battle back, and this is somebody here, 87 tackles, 3 interceptions, 2 return for touchdowns. I thought he was gone. I thought Battle was gone because I had a late first, early second round grade on Battle. For him to come back, that's huge because there are small elements to his game that he will need to clean up a bit more, but the ball skills, the tackling, the communication, football IQ. He's got all of that. So to have him back to run this thing back for next season, big there for the Alabama defensive secondary. And then your two defensive linemen to have DJ Dale and Byron Young back, like both of those right there. DJ Dale, as the season got deeper, when you look at the SEC championship game and the Goodyear Cotton Bowl against Cincinnati, Dale showed some stuff there. If he can finally take a full year of not only being healthy with his knee, but also from start to finish show big-time production. Can DJ Dale give that? Can he show that? Because that's what U.S. fans have been waiting on from him. It's like, Bama could probably get somebody else there at that nose tackle position. Can DJ Dale finally do something to where U.S. fans go, whoa, okay, he the man. Whoa, okay, he the guy. He that dude. Can DJ Dale do something like that here in the 2022 campaign? And then Byron Young, of course, you guys know how I feel about Byron Young. The guy's nasty. The guy's freaky with it on the field in terms of hitting those offensive players, getting sacks, getting tackles for loss, making big plays. Happy to see Byron Young back here for the 2022 season. So this Alabama defense is looking real good right now. Waiting on what does Christian Harris do? Waiting on what does Jalen Armour Davis do? But right now, with the names we see that have announced they're coming back to Alabama for next season, this is really good for Pete Golding, Coach Saban, and this defense. But as always, Bama fans, you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage on your favorite program. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from the iPhone App Store. If you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store. If you got the Android phone for your audio needs, check us out. iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm. iHeartRadio got you covered there. If you're trying to get you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, have those sent to your door, fans. That link found in the description. If you're trying to get the print edition of TDA the magazine, you go to touchdownalabama.com, you click join, become a member, a subscriber today to get that magazine. Also, if you're trying to get that four-finger bling necklace, four-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys at weownthefourthquarter.com. That's weownthefourthquarter.com. That link in the description, too. Appreciate all of you guys making this your show. The Super Chat donations, the calls, the texts, letting your voice, letting your interactions, letting your passion, letting your thoughts be made known. Because we do this show for you, the fans. You keep football going. You keep football exciting. You keep football entertaining. So that's why we do the show for you guys. But as always, husbands love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children, weekend here, weekend in the building. But continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, legitimate thing to not be bored. You be sure to get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Enjoy the NFL playoff football this weekend. Until next time, folks, I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith. This has been In My Own Words.